Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is a Thursday, January 19th, 2017. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The fourth in a series of Inception workshops to strengthen evidence-based decision-making for citizen security in the Caribbean was launched today, January 19th, at the Nevis Disaster Management Department. The project, titled Carry Secure, spans 10 countries with 3 priority countries: St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and Guyana. Carry Secure is working to improve the quality of citizen security data on policies and programs aimed at reducing youth involvement in crime and violence.
So to strengthen citizen security, we need to have the policies that address the root causes of crime and taking into account the type of crime being committed, the gender and age of the victims and perpetrators, the location and time, and then sound evidence is needed for policy formation to guide its execution and to assess the progress towards crime reduction. So in order to do this, we need to have data that's gathered in a systematic way and at a consistent quality level. The Carry Secure project focuses on improving the quality of citizen security data and thus your ability in the Nevis Island administration to design effective policies and programs to prevent youth crime and violence.
A cadre of senior officers who have responsibility for information management, policy and program design, implementation and monitoring are participating in the United Nations Development Program UNDP project.
So in order to contribute to this reduction in youth crime and violence, this project focuses our part of this project focuses on 3 main outputs. The first is ensuring that we have standardized and disaggregated crime data sources established to facilitate the identification and measurement of youth risk and resilience factors. Second output is that we can then do evidence-based analysis of crime and violence data to inform policy making and programming. So the responsible people within the government need to be in a position to be able to transform data through analysis into evidence that can be used for policy making. And finally, that we see improved decision making on youth crime and violence based on evidence.
The Carry Secure project is made possible through the support of the United States Agency for International Development USAID Youth Empowerment Services YES project. Meantime, Nevis's Deputy Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, today welcomed the Carry Secure project, calling it a timely intervention.
I'm not sure if I'm proud that St. Kitts Nevis has been singled out as one of the 3 countries to focus on. I'm happy for the focus. We're always pleased, of course, when there's some focus on our small country. But in light of the content of the workshop, it perhaps suggests an underlying problem as to why we have been singled out. And I think that underlying problem is quite clear. We have a problem with crime. We have a problem with youth violence. And so I think that this is very timely. I'm hopeful, as I believe Ms. Archibald expressed, that once you're gone, that the impact of this seminar will remain.
Minister Brantley, who delivered the feature address, expressed the need for re-education and reorientation in how we think about dealing with and deterring crime.
And I can tell you as a politician, there's tremendous pressure from the electorate to get tough. That's always the expression. You have to be tough on crime. So when I heard expression of holding people's hand and making sure they get back to school and that kind of thing, I think that's interesting because it really requires not just us who are in the temporary positions as we tend to be as politicians, as policymakers, but also I think in terms of the overall community, to be re-educated and to understand that there is more to this from a long-term and a long-range strategic perspective.
He also had this to say.
As I listened, it occurred to me that there was a point in Nevis, and we always used to say everybody was poor. Maybe didn't know it because everybody was just like you. But I think as part of that re-education and reorientation of our thinking, that we will have to explain to our populace how it is that everybody was poor and we didn't have any crime. That, I think, is a puzzle. It has always puzzled me because we grew up at a time when we didn't have any of the modern luxuries or amenities, and we were hungry, we were poor, we didn't have running water, we didn't have electricity, but nobody stole, nobody killed, and we didn't have any problems with youth crime and violence. So that suggests to me that the question has to be a larger question than just poverty.
Deputy Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley. The Federation's eldest residents celebrated another milestone today, Thursday, January 19th. Felicia Liebert has the details.
Cillian Martin Powell, now the eldest living person in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, is celebrating her 105th birthday today, January 19th, and earlier today, a celebratory program was held in her honor. At the Flamboyant Nursing Home, where she is a resident, numerous family members, friends, and well-wishers gathered to express their love and kind wishes to the centenarian. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, Keith Glasgow, delivered remarks on behalf of Junior Minister, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams.
No man or woman is an island, and I recognize, you can't get away from this, that Miss Powell has a large and very supportive family, and I know that she would have played a very important part in their life, and they are now playing a very important part in her life as well. And so, on behalf of the Social Services Department Seniors Division and the Ministry of Social Development, we want to extend a very happy 105th birthday to our celebrant, Miss Cillian Powell.
Glasgow also presented a gift basket to the celebrant, whose youngest granddaughter accepted on her behalf. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Emery, in delivering brief remarks, lauded the family for the great care and attention given to the celebrant over the years.
I want to say especially to the family that I commend you for the attention and the care which you have given to your elder. And I want to commend the Honorable Carlisle Powell, who is here. He's a man on the spot, as it were. And I have myself seen him giving attention to his grandmother in the home here. And the care which he's taken speaks well for the family. And you have a great representative taking care of your matriarch.
Those in attendance then sang the birthday song for the 105th time for the birthday celebrant, after which she gave a response.
God bless you. Come hear me talk.
Also present at the ceremony were Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, Minister of State responsible for social services, Leader of the Opposition in the Nevis Island Assembly, the Honorable Joseph Parry, and members of the clergy. Cillian Powell is one of 18 centenarians currently living in the Federation. I'm Felicia Liebert reporting for the Nevis Newscast.
Thanks, Felicia. Still to come.
Our local service providers can look out in 2017 because the water department will have a lot of work going on and a lot of work for them.
We'll give you the details after this break.
At a loss as to what's going on in Nevis? Tune into NNC on NTV. Don't worry if you don't have cable either. NNC will bring the news to you wherever you are. Facebook and Facebook Live. YouTube and YouTube Live. NevisTVOnline.com. Roku app, NTV mobile app, Smart TV, Apple TV, and any other IPTV platforms. When me ANC and you ANC, NNC.
Welcome back. The Nevis Water Department is expected to be very busy in 2017 as it works to bring relief to consumers experiencing low water pressure. Junior Minister of Works, the Honorable Troy Liebert, says the Nevis Water Department will undertake what he is describing as an ambitious plan to upgrade water lines in these areas.
Indeed, one of the reasons for expanding the water project to expand the main transmission lines is to facilitate these upgrades so that some areas that are at higher elevations or closer to the reservoirs where when people downstream start utilizing water, for instance, early in the morning when everybody is getting ready for work, all the water starts flowing downstream. And if you have smaller pipes, then they can only carry so much flow. So the larger pipes carry more flow. Therefore, some water will be left for the people who are upstream. So the water department, in conjunction with bringing the water project through, the newer, larger transmission mains, they will be upgrading mains into some of our village areas where people have been experiencing low pressure or no pressure at times.
According to Minister Liebert, this promises to be a year of civil works, as the Nevis Water Department will be working in conjunction with the NIA's Road Enhancement Program.
Mr. President, in 2017, the Water Department will be engaged in pipe upgrades in the Brown Hill area. This will coincide with works to be carried out by the Public Works Department on the Brown Hill Road Rehabilitation Project. Mr. President, they will also be fully engaged in pipe upgrades in the Shaw's Road area, and this will be in conjunction with works to be carried out on the Shaw's Road Rehabilitation Project. Indeed, Mr. President, these piping networks, we expect them to go along Shaw's Road up to Goers Hill, all the way up to Fountain. And these works will be in conjunction with the road works that are supposed to be happening in this area.
Minister Liebert also reiterated the NIA's policy of utilizing local laborers, truckers, and equipment providers as much and wherever possible.
And what I have just outlined here for 2017 is a lot of work on the water side. And so our local service providers can look out in 2017, because the water department will have a lot of work going on and a lot of work for them.
Junior Minister of Works, the Honorable Troy Liebert. In the spirit of democracy and honoring the champions of human rights, a women's march in Nevis has been organized in parallel with others fighting for women's rights and human rights around the world. Part of the Women's March Global, the local event is now part of an international movement inspired by a group of women in the United States. In more than 50 countries, in 370 locations around the world, including St. Kitts and Nevis, people will be gathering on Saturday, January 21st, to support women's rights and the rights of all people in response to the rising rhetoric of a far-right populism around the world. A march will take place in Charlestown, Nevis from 9 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 21st, starting at Café des Arts. It will proceed along Main Street to the War Memorial and return along Samuel Hunkins Drive to Café des Arts. The Women's March is non-partisan and is being held specifically to express a support for women's rights and human rights. All women and the people who love them are invited to attend. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Good night.